Hey everybody, what's going on? Back with the next Opus 26 Gunslinger Abyss set release. Set review, I guess, is what I have on the title. We're going to be covering the ice cards now. This set is exciting. It's more exciting than I thought it would be. I know we're torn right now between banning and not banning certain cards of the current meta, but I think all the problems will fix itself. So let's get reading, let's get cracking, and let's learn a little bit. So we have a 2 CP backup, Annabella the Duchess. I believe this is Dion's? No, this might be Clive's mother, I think, right? Yeah. When a character you control is priming, choose a character, dull it, and freeze it. So now we're opening up that fire deck, you know, with the two brothers into ice, which has always been the thing, right? Because we had the Jill Clive thing going on the last time. But I like this one a lot. The fact that it just is always there for when we do the prime, kind of like makes things easier, right? I can't tell you how many times when I'm going from Clive into Ifrit and I need to kill more than one thing, but you know your opponent has enough blockers to deal with this. You know, we'll go Clive into Ifrit, 10k, dull freeze this, swing, damage, 10k the other thing, right? That's the control we needed before. So I can tell you right now, if you're planning on building the 16 deck, the Annabella is going to be very important. The question is, are we going to play Fire Ice, or are we going to find a way to cheat this in with cards like, I don't know, Edward, or I don't know, something else in a mono fire list? Or honestly, as we go through the rest of the set, maybe there's a better way to do it. But all in all, this card is great. I think if you like the whole 16 engine, and you're big on the whole priming thing like I am, you're gonna find a way to squeeze this one in. The Undead Princess, I love that WoF got this full treatment. You know, we had I can't even remember their last ones, but we have all the True Drops, the Tama, and all of them, and now we have Undead Princess, and I think the Refia got one too. But when Undead Princess enters the field, gain a crystal. Your opponent discards a card. Oh, okay, that's pretty good. That might be too good, I think. A 3/7 to gain a crystal and your opponent discards a card. That's a forward. I don't think we have anything exactly like this, but I like this a lot. I've been working on something with ice, and I think I prefer this over a couple of the other card choices. I think it's cool. It's a very nice full art. We haven't seen a playable Undead Princess in a while. I don't think we ever did, actually. The other one was Earth and did a bunch of unnecessary things. So this is cool. It's nice. The art is, again, beautiful. So we're looking forward to this. Wool. So Ice Warrior of Light. During this turn, if your opponent has discarded a card due to your summon or abilities, the cost required of Wool is reduced by 2. When Wool attacks, you may discard 2 cards. When you do so, choose a forward, break it. You had me there in the first one. You lost me there in the second one. I think it's cool to always have that option, but I don't really like giving up my cards that easily, if he had haste, sure, but they're not going to give cards like this haste and ice. So it is a common for a reason. Probably good and limited, and I think outside of that, I don't think we're going further. Musician. Discard a card, choose a dull forward, deal it 5k damage. If you discarded a lightning element, deal it 7k damage. Yeah, we're going to pass over this whole, unless the effect is much better than these damage ones. So the fire one was damage, and the ice one is damage. Why? And this one's even worse, because it has to be a dull forward. Like, get out of here. Kadaj, Remnant. At the end of each of your turns, remove Kadaj from the game. At the end of your opponent's turn, play Kadaj onto the field. Okay. When Kadaj enters the field, choose a forward, dull it. You had to be there again. I guess... Nope. Not gonna even entertain this one. Let's move on. Kuja. When Kuja enters the field, you may remove 1 ice backup you control from the game. When you do so, your opponent discards 2 cards. Okay. When Kuja is chosen by your opponent's summon or ability, if your opponent doesn't discard 1 card, cancel its effect. Now we're talking. Okay, so first of all, I just want to add, I wish this one was full art, because the Ico got a full art in this nice art. So come on, guys, what happened here? But no, this card is solid. I think I enjoy this one a lot. Yeah, remove an ice backup. So the first ability is probably what I'm most interested in. Yes, it's a good way to. I mean, are versatile gamers really like loving this right now? But the fact that you can just straight up remove one of your backups, which I find is always a problem with ice. You don't have that same filtration that some of the other decks do. I think this one just really works for that, and then it has that protection, right? Kind of like the LB did, right? You had to target it; it would free something. So this one just kind of makes you work a little bit harder to get away with what you want. So I like it. Now, will it fit in a lot of decks? Who knows? But I think the first part might be big enough for me to consider it. Kujata. During your turn, you can dole 2 active ice forwards. Okay, so it's the same thing. And choose a dole forward, break it. Oh, awesome. Another really good one. Okay, so yeah, I'm really enjoying this this summon line. Again, there's a lot of times here where we're just floating turns, but you can always block 2, right? And then just tap 2 and like, break stuff. And so there's a lot of ways to play these. Oh no, this is during your turn. So never mind, I take that back. I wonder if the other one was like that. Now I'm forgetting. Still not bad. I think we can work with this one, but now I like it a little less. Because it can only be during your turn. Cripshay? This is a new one for me. I don't even remember seeing this guy in my life. During your turn, Cripshay also becomes a forward with first strike, and when Cripshay deals damage to your opponent, put Cripshay in the break zone. Your opponent discards 2. See, I like this one a little bit more than the last one because it has a lot. It's more threatening, right? The first strike means you can only block it with so many things, but also you can't let it go through because there goes your hand. So this one's cool. This one's a little more threatening than what we've seen so far, which up until now for me was just the fire one. So I think this one's more playable than the fire one, and probably a little playable in general. So the fact that he is like unlimited, right? You can have the multiples of him, means I could play 2 of these turn 1, and then you have to start dealing with this. So it's very problematic, and you can't interact with it until I take my turn. So even if your backup said unless it says enter break a monster or break a 2-drop character, right, which isn't too common right away, this guy might be problematic, honestly. The Shiva we saw, but quick go over, enters, frees all the forwards your opponent controls. If primed, frees all the characters as well. So and then Ice Age S1, your opponent discards 2 cards. You can only use this ability during your main phase. So this is another good one for that Clive to steal. I think on its own it's just very strong as well. I like the Shiva a little bit more than the other one, but for different things, right? Like it really just depends on the situation. And we did get a new Jill, so I don't know if maybe just Ice goes mono Jill too. Sid Waff, when your opponent uses an EX burst, your opponent randomly discards 1 card. This is going to be very good for Ice. I think, I'm not going to lie, between this and Lena, if you're playing Water Ice, is just super funny. Like, you'll get value, and they discard a card. So, is it really worth it? Probably not. Is that enough for you to say, I don't think I need to worry about an EX burst anymore? Maybe. Unless it's game winning, right? Like, unless we're doing, like, what's his name? Ruggagine, right? Like, remember, Ice's old thing was, oh man, I'm blanking. Reno, what's his name? The stupid Turk, right? Discard, and then, like, Ruggagine make you discard and then attack twice, but then a single EX burst would ruin the day, right? So, let's say that did happen right away, and then you had Lena and Sid Waff, then sure, that, your combo's gone, but you've made some value, right? Like, you got to draw back and you made them discard. So there's something to be seen there. I think the Sid Waff is very playable. Sid Reigns, I think we saw this one already and I wasn't impressed. During this turn, your opponent discards. During this turn, if your opponent has discarded a card due to your summoner ability, the cost of the card is reduced by 2. When a forward enters your opponent's field other than from their hand, you may put Sid Reigns into the break zone. When you do so, break it. I think the fact that he's cheap and he could be cheaper makes me happy, but I guess seeing what I've seen out of like all the new cards already, plus the way the meta is now, I'm probably a little bit bigger on this right now. The problem is that it doesn't stop their like ETBs, so it's just like, yeah, they'll get whatever they want, and then you can break it if you so felt like if you needed to, right? Like it says you may, so you'll probably have to anyway. So, because he won't survive much longer than that. But yeah, let's see how it plays out. Let's see how the meta works out to see if he can find a home. But as of right now, he's like maybe a one of, or I don't know. I don't think more than that. Charlotte, the legendary. You can only pay with ICP to cast Charlotte. And that's to cast, not to cheat out. When Charlotte is chosen by your opponent's summon or abilities, if your opponent doesn't discard one card, cancel its effect. So like the Kuja. When a character enters your opponent's field, dull it and freeze it. I think that's the big thing, right? The first two parts of this card are pretty standard, right? Because we just saw that from the Kuja. Sorry, I'm going to back out here, right? By your opponent's summon or ability, right? So this is the same as a rare card, but it's this little second effect here, right? When a character, right? So all your backups are coming in dull frozen, right? Which means they're going to be not usable for a whole nother turn. So what value are you actually presenting in an aggressive matchup, right? Like, let's say I don't know, let's say I put 2 forwards down and then I just drop this, right? Like this in Rugged is another problem going forward, right? Because even if you do answer it, you're going to be a little bit delayed. You have to discard extra cards. It's problematic. So I think being able to get this guy out with some other, getting this Charlotte out, this knight out with some other protection is going to be very, very useful. So I think someone was trolling and they're like, this and Cecil, good luck, right? Yeah, I agree. Summoner. When Summoner enters the field, choose an ice summon in your break zone, add it to your hand. Okay, not bad for 3. Put Summoner into the break zone during this turn. The cost required to cast your next summon is reduced by 2. Also okay, but I doubt we'll play it. There's better things to do with our backups. Ice summons aren't that great. My favorite. Jill. So when Jill enters the field, choose up to the same number of characters as job icons in your break zone and or in your removed from the game and dull them. At the beginning of the attack phase, during each of your turns, you may pay 1 ice. When you do so, choose a dull forward and break it. By itself, fantastic. I don't even think like. I think it has a lot can be said about this card, right? It doesn't have that cost reduction like our last Jill, but I think it's still very playable. Especially that, like, you can, even if it comes in and just dulls a few things and just kills a forward, we're great, right? We're solid. So, you know, there's a lot to be said here. I think it's another good idea of, it's not the best option, but definitely a good option for, you know, anti-Una stuff, right? So, I know it's silly to, like, just, you know, I don't know if the right word is, like, just tunnel vision into that problem, because obviously there will be a lot more decks, but because, again, the debate is going on still right now where whether we want it removed or not before any more major events, especially nationals and hopefully worlds, right? Like, but again, I don't think like that. I think like how do we build better decks in general that Una becomes irrelevant, right? Or like that we can play into the best possible games into everyone, right? So yeah, I think this is a great card. Plus, going into those other Shivas, you know, let's say they do tax you here, fine, you don't get nothing. I'll go into battle, kill the Una, or like kill the Cecil, and then just prime into the other one, the new one, and then just freeze everything for a whole turn. Good luck. Did you have the Miwa? Well, you earned it, right? Like, until then, though, I'm good. Snow. Alright, when Snow enters the field, select one of the following actions. If Snow enters the field due to an ability of a Category 13 character, select 2 of the following actions. Draw a card, your opponent discards. Again, fantastic. All of these are just pairing with Lightning. There's too much to be said about that Lightning already that we didn't already, like, have, right? So, I love it. By itself, not that big of a deal. 4 for a draw one is good, but 4 for a discard is what we have already, right? So, but when paired with the new Lightning, fantastic. So, lot going on there. New Knight, it's not a new Knight, sorry, like a reprint of the old Knight. And then we're on the 12, Halone. When Halone enters the field or attacks, choose up to 2 characters. If you control 6 or more job of the 12, dull them and freeze them. Your opponent discards a card. Yeah, I don't know if I need all this. Yeah, the 12 is getting interesting, right? Like, needing 6 or more is a lot, right? Even if we have 3 backups or 4 backups or all backups, this one has to be the last one, and then there's too much. I think some of these are is asking for a little too much, and I think this is probably the highest one. I think after this, the other ones only require 4 or more, so which is, you know, reasonable, but 6 or more, you're asking for too much. Physalis, another knight. Warp, 2 ice, 1 warp. Warp 1, wow. When warp enters... Oh, sorry. When a warp counter is removed from Physalis, you may play 1 forward of cost 5 or less with warp from your hand onto the field. This effect will only trigger Physalis... What the heck? Okay. Yeah, so when you warp her, next turn, her and another forward are coming in. Okay. I think warp might actually be good now. I say this every set because, you know, we're always trying, but it might actually be good now. I like this card. Star Sybil. When a forward you control is chosen by your opponent's ability, your opponent discards a card. This effect will only trigger once per turn. So I guess it doesn't matter which forward is chosen. It's only once, so that's okay. Not bad, I think. Good deterrence. Menfina, another 12. This is the backup. When Menfina enters, you may pay X. When you do so, search for 12 cost X or less and play it on the field. Okay, so this is good filtering. You can only pay X with CP produced by the 12 backups and or discarding the 12 cards. Okay, so there is some caveat there, but at least it lets you fix yourself right away. So this one's very important so far, in my opinion. Again, we'll grab all of these as a whole and cook, right? This is a backup, so and then you can tap and choose a forward and freeze it. I like that control aspect too. I'm glad. This is just a really solid card for the 12. And then Heretical Knight Garland, another LB Knight card. Did we really need that? When Heretical Knight Garland enters the field, choose up to 2 backups your opponent controls. Freeze them. Wow. So I don't even have to waste like my Laswell trigger on this to target your backups anymore. I mean, that's cool. He's 4 with Beatrix. Limit Break 2. I think it's just interesting to have another knight in the LB. So that's cool. But did it need it? Will we use it? Probably. Maybe just a 1-of, right? I think we're fine with Kuja and other stuff. I don't know if the backups is going to be that important. But I think, again, we got to think about it in 3 ways, right? Laswell, Ramza. How much ice are we actually using already? Am I casting this instead of the Kuja or the Serges or whatever when I need it? Maybe if all of those are yes, then yes, this card fits just fine. And I think that's it for the ice characters. Yeah. I think I've been forgetting to do this, but my standouts are definitely going to be Kuja, Charlotte, and the backups. I think Cripshay is a sleeper, and obviously Jill and Physalis are strong. And then Snow is just really good with the lightning engine. So again, this set's getting more exciting every time I read these cards with you guys. Yeah, let me know which ones you think. What do you guys want to see first, by the way? What are you more interested in? Do you want a mono ice discard? Do you want a warp deck? Or just like, are we really worried about the priming thing? Or the 12? I said it once, I'll say it again. I'm going to ask this at the end of every video so you guys can let me know. I want to get a good gauge on what you guys want to see first. So, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and go watch the next one. Come on.